The desperate plea. The Galactic Council's Grand Hall was silent, filled with fear and despair. Holographic images floated in the air, showing planet after planet falling into darkness. The Shadow Swarm was unstoppable, an ancient enemy that consumed everything in its path. Stars dimmed, worlds vanished, and hope was fading fast. Council leader Xylo stood at the center, his face pale and eyes wide with worry. Our strongest fleets are gone. Our allies have been destroyed. We have no one left to fight for us, he said, his voice trembling. If we don't find help, our galaxy is doomed. Murmurs of panic spread through the hall. Counselors from every corner of the galaxy looked at each other, their faces pale with fear. No one had ever faced such a powerful enemy before. The Shadow Swarm moved like a black wave, swallowing light and life itself. Counselor Vela, the youngest member, spoke up. We sent distress signals to every advanced civilization. No one has answered. They're either too scared or already defeated. Her voice shook as she continued. We're running out of time. Despair filled the room. They had tried everything. The mightiest weapons and the smartest strategies, all had failed. The Shadow Swarm was too strong, too fast, too merciless. Nothing could stop it. Xylo lowered his head, his shoulders heavy with defeat. There must be someone out there, someone who can help us. But even he didn't believe his own words. Just then, Counselor Vela's eyes lit up. What about the legends? She whispered, her voice barely audible. The room fell silent. Legends. In a moment like this. But Vela continued, her hope growing. The ancient stories. They speak of a species hidden on a blue planet at the edge of the galaxy. A species that survived countless wars, disasters, and challenges. They were called humans. Laughter erupted. Humans. Those primitive creatures. They're barely out of their own star system, scoffed Counselor Drix. They're weak. They can't even travel between stars. Vela didn't back down. Yes, they're primitive, but they're survivors. The legends say they are stubborn and relentless. They never give up, no matter the odds. What if they can help us? Counselor Cora, an elder with centuries of wisdom, leaned forward. I've heard the stories too. They say humans are unpredictable. They find strength in the impossible. They fight even when victory seems hopeless. A spark of hope flickered in Xylo's eyes. Could they really be the answer? He asked. It's a gamble, Cora admitted, but we have no other choice. Xylo took a deep breath, his mind racing. If there's even a chance, we must try. He turned to the communication officer. Send a message to Earth. Tell them, we need their help. We need them to save the galaxy. The officer hesitated. Do you think they'll understand? They might not even know we exist. Xylo's voice was firm. We have no choice. Send the message. It's our only hope. The communication officer's fingers danced over the control panel. A powerful signal was sent through the void of space, racing across light years toward a small blue planet. Earth. As the message traveled, silence returned to the Grand Hall. The counselors looked at each other, fear and doubt clouding their faces. They were placing the fate of the galaxy in the hands of a species they had never met, a species they knew only from ancient myths. Would the humans respond? Would they even understand the message? And if they did, could they really stand against the Shadow Swarm? No one knew the answer, but one thing was certain. The galaxy's survival depended on this final hope. Far away on Earth, in a small observatory, a group of scientists watched their screens in shock. Strange signals were coming from deep space, repeating the same message over and over. It was a cry for help, desperate and full of fear. The scientists looked at each other, their hearts racing. They were not alone in the universe, and someone out there needed them. In the heart of Earth's Global Space Command, alarms blared and red lights flashed. Scientists and military officers rushed around, their faces filled with confusion and urgency. On a massive screen, Strange alien symbols danced, repeating the same message over and over. It was the distress signal from the Galactic Council, traveling across light years, now echoing in Earth's communication network. General Ethan Ross stood in the middle of the chaos, his arms crossed and jaw tight. He was a man of action, known for his sharp mind and fearless leadership, but now even he was at a loss for words. "Is this some kind of joke?" he muttered, his eyes locked on the screen. "An alien SOS? From the galaxy?" Dr. Mia Chen, the head scientist, shook her head. Her dark hair was messy, and her eyes were wide with excitement. "No joke, General. The signal is genuine. It's coming from outside our solar system, way outside. We've triple-checked it. This is real." General Ross looked at her, his mind racing. "So, we're not alone. And whoever they are, they're in trouble." He took a deep breath. "Can we understand what they're saying?" Mia grinned, already working on it. "The signal is complex, but it's repeating in patterns. We're decoding it right now." She pointed at a group of linguists and computer experts, their fingers flying over keyboards as they tried to translate the alien message. Minutes felt like hours as everyone waited. Finally, the screen flickered, and the alien symbols turned into words. The message was clear now, and it sent chills down everyone's spine. "To the beings of Earth, we beg for your help. Our worlds are falling to the shadow swarm. Our fleets are destroyed. Our hope is fading. You are our last chance. Please, save us." The room fell silent. No one moved. No one spoke. The weight of the message was heavy, and its desperation was impossible to ignore. General Ross's face hardened. "Shadow swarm? What is that?" Mia's face was pale. "We don't know, but whatever it is, it's destroying entire worlds." She looked at him, fear in her eyes. "They're asking us to save them." Ross felt his chest tighten. Earth had just learned they weren't alone in the universe, and now they were being asked to fight an enemy they knew nothing about. Why us? Why not someone more advanced? Mia's voice was a whisper. "Maybe we're the only ones left who can." A heavy silence filled the room. Earth was primitive compared to the image of powerful alien civilizations they had imagined. Yet out there, entire galaxies were falling to darkness, and the only hope left was humanity. General Ross looked around the room. Faces were pale, eyes were wide, but he also saw determination. Earth had faced impossible challenges before, wars, disasters, and threats that seemed unstoppable. And every time, humanity had fought back. They had survived. He slammed his fist on the table, his voice firm. "We can't ignore this. If those worlds fall, what's stopping this shadow swarm from coming here?" He looked at his team, his eyes blazing. "We need to know everything. Prepare a response. Let them know we're coming." Mia's eyes widened. You're going to help them." Ross's lips curled into a fierce smile. "They asked for help, and humans don't turn away from a fight. If the galaxy needs us, then we'll show them what Earth is made of." Mia felt a spark of hope. The legends were true. Humanity was stubborn, relentless, and fearless. She nodded, her heart pounding. "I'll send the message right away." She typed furiously, sending a powerful signal back through space. The words were simple but powerful. "Message received. Humanity is on the way." The screen flashed, confirming the message was sent. For better or worse, Earth had answered the call. General Ross took a deep breath. "Prepare the fleets. Ready our best pilots and soldiers. We're going to find out who needs saving and who we need to fight." As the room burst into action, Mia looked up at the stars. Out there, in the darkness, an enemy waited, but so did new allies, beings who needed help, who believed in legends about Earth's bravery. Humanity was about to enter the galaxy's greatest battle, and the universe would never be the same again. The massive hangar of Earth's Global Space Command buzzed with activity. Engineers and technicians moved quickly, checking every wire, every bolt, and every weapon system. Rows of sleek, powerful starships stood ready, their metal hulls reflecting the bright lights above. These were humanity's best, designed for speed, power, and survival in the cold void of space. General Ethan Ross walked down the platform, his eyes sharp and focused. Beside him was Captain Ryan Walker, leader of Earth's elite pilot squadron. Ryan's face was serious, his jaw clenched. "You're really going through with this?" he asked, his voice low. "We're flying into unknown territory, to fight an enemy we've never seen before." Ross stopped, looking at the towering starships. "I know the risks, Captain. But if we don't go, those worlds are doomed. And if the shadow swarm keeps spreading, Earth will be next." He turned to Ryan, his eyes fierce. "We fight now, or we wait for them to find us. I'd rather meet them on our terms." Ryan's lips curled into a determined smile. "I like the way you think, sir. My squad is ready. We've trained for the worst. Time to see if we're as good as we say." Ross nodded, placing a firm hand on Ryan's shoulder. "You're the best we got. I need you to lead our vanguard, scout the area, and make sure we're not flying into a trap." Ryan's eyes gleamed with excitement. "Understood. We'll be your eyes in the dark." Nearby, Dr. Mia Chen was busy uploading coordinates into the navigation systems. Her fingers danced over the screen, entering the data received from the distress signal. She glanced at Ross. "I've pinpointed the source of the call. It's coming from the Orion Expanse, deep in uncharted space." Ross raised an eyebrow. "Uncharted?" Mia nodded. "We've never been that far. It's beyond the reach of our longest missions. Whatever is out there, we'll be the first humans to see it." Her eyes sparkled with curiosity, but worry lingered in her voice. "But if the signal is true, then the shadow swarm has already destroyed multiple worlds there. We're flying straight into a war zone." Ross's jaw tightened. "Then we fly fast, we fly hard, and we don't stop until we find the source. We're not leaving anyone behind." He looked around the hangar, his voice rising. "All units, prepare for launch. Humanity is answering the call." The announcement echoed through the massive room, sparking cheers and shouts from the pilots and soldiers. Helmets were secured, boots stomped, and weapons were loaded. There was no turning back now. Mia approached Ryan, handing him a data chip. "These are the latest scans from the probe we sent ahead. It's mostly static, but I did pick up traces of energy signatures. Be careful out there." Ryan grinned, slipping the chip into his helmet system. "Careful? Not my style. But I'll make sure to come back in one piece." He winked before turning to his ship, his confident swagger hiding the nerves bubbling inside. The starships roared to life, engines humming with power. One by one, they lifted off the ground, hovering in perfect formation. Ryan's voice crackled over the comms. "Vanguard Squadron, ready for departure. Coordinates locked. On my mark. 3, 2, 1. Launch." The ships shot forward, blazing through the hangar's exit and into the star-filled sky. Trails of blue light followed them as they broke through Earth's atmosphere, heading for the cold void of space. From the command center, Ross watched the ships disappear. His chest tightened, a wave of anxiety washing over him. They were sending their best pilots into the unknown, chasing a signal that could be a trap or a call for salvation. Mia stood beside him, her face pale. "Do you think we're doing the right thing?" Ross's eyes stayed on the stars. "I don't know. But I do know one thing. Humanity never runs from a fight. If the galaxy needs us, then we'll answer, no matter the cost." In the vastness of space, Ryan's squadron sped toward the Orion Expanse. Stars blurred into streaks of light as they activated their hyperdrives. The ships vibrated with power, the fabric of space bending around them. Ryan's voice was steady, but excitement tinged his words. "Stay sharp, team. We're entering uncharted space. We don't know what's waiting for us, but we're ready for anything. The squadron pushed forward, heading toward the source of the distress call. Their mission was clear: find the ones who called for help and face the darkness threatening to consume the galaxy. Little did they know, the shadow swarm was already waiting, and the first encounter would change everything. The void of space was silent and endless, dotted with distant stars that seemed to flicker with ancient secrets. Ryan's squadron flew in tight formation, their ships slicing through the darkness with unmatched precision. The Orion expanse was vast and eerie, a place where no human had ventured before. Ryan's voice crackled over the comms. "Vanguard Squadron, stay alert. We're entering the coordinates where the signal originated." Sensors on full sweep. His eyes scanned the cockpit's displays, searching for any sign of movement. Lieutenant Kara's voice came through, her tone tense. "Captain, I'm picking up strange energy signatures. They're fluctuating, almost like they're alive." Ryan's stomach tightened. "Maintain formation. Don't break ranks. Whatever's out there, we face it together." The darkness grew thicker, shadows seeming to dance around the ships. The squadron's lights cut through the blackness, illuminating nothing but empty space. Then, without warning, the silence shattered. A blinding flash of red light exploded in front of them, forcing Ryan to shield his eyes. His ship's alarm screamed as the energy wave washed over them, shaking the hull. "Evasive maneuvers. Break formation," he shouted. The squadron scattered, each pilot twisting and turning to avoid the surge of energy. But as the light faded, a new threat emerged. Shapes began to materialize in the darkness, shadowy figures with glowing red eyes, their forms twisting and shifting as if made of smoke. They moved swiftly, surrounding the ships with impossible speed. Ryan's heart raced. "What are those things?" Kara's voice trembled. They're not ships. They're alive." Her sensors struggled to lock onto the targets, the readings erratic and chaotic. "I can't get a clear shot." The shadowy creatures circled the squadron, their eyes burning with malice. Then one lunged forward, its form stretching and warping as it attacked. Its claws raked across Kara's ship, leaving deep gashes in the metal. Sparks flew as her systems flickered. "I'm hit. Shields are down." Ryan's fists tightened around the controls. "Hold on, Kara. I'm coming." He fired his thrusters, his ship blazing toward the creature. His cannons roared, blue energy beams tearing through the darkness. But the creature moved like smoke, dodging the blasts with unnatural agility. Ryan cursed under his breath. "They're too fast." Lieutenant Marcus joined the fight, his ship diving in from above. "Focus your fire. We'll trap it between us." The two pilots synchronized their attacks, energy beams crisscrossing and boxing the creature in. It hissed, its body crackling with red lightning before exploding into a cloud of dust. The particles drifted through space, dissolving into nothingness. Ryan let out a breath of relief. One down, but there are more coming. Dozens of the shadowy beings swarmed toward them, their eyes glowing brighter. They moved in unison, their shapes morphing as they attacked from all directions. Kara's voice was shaky but determined. "Captain, if we stay here, we're done for. We need a plan." Ryan's mind raced. They were outnumbered and outmatched, but retreating wasn't an option. The distress signal had led them here, to this haunted void where shadows came to life. He glanced at his radar, noticing the source of the signal just beyond the swarm. That's where the call came from. If we can reach it, maybe we can find out what's controlling these things. Marcus was already moving. "I'm on your 6, Captain. Let's punch through." The squadron tightened their formation, flying as one unit toward the signal. The shadow creatures closed in, their bodies warping and stretching as they attacked. Ryan's ship shook as claws scraped against his hull. He fired his thrusters, spinning out of reach before blasting the creature with his cannons. It howled, its form shattering like glass. But for every one they destroyed, 3 more took its place. The shadows were endless, a sea of darkness determined to swallow them whole. Kara's voice was strained. Shields failing. I can't hold them off much longer. Ryan's jaw clenched. We don't need to fight them all. Just reach the source. He pushed his engines to full power, his ship blazing toward the signal. The shadows swarmed around him, their claws tearing at his shields. Warning lights flashed, his systems straining under the pressure. He was close now. The source of the signal was just ahead. A massive, ancient structure floating in the void. It looked like a fortress, its walls covered in strange symbols that glowed faintly. Marcus's eyes widened. What is that? Ryan's heart raced. I don't know, but it's where the call came from. Whatever's inside, it's the key to all of this. They approached the fortress, dodging the shadows that guarded its entrance. The creatures hissed, their eyes burning with rage as the humans drew closer. Kara's voice was weak, her ship barely holding together. Captain, go on without me. I'll cover you. Ryan's chest tightened. No way. We all make it out, or none of us do. Hold the line. I'm going in. His ship shot forward, weaving through the swarm as he approached the fortress. The ancient doors loomed before him, covered in glowing symbols. They pulsed with energy, reacting to his presence. Ryan's fingers danced over the controls, scanning the structure. There's an opening, just big enough to fly through. I'm going in. The shadows howled, rushing to stop him. But it was too late. Ryan's ship dove into the opening, narrowly escaping their grasp. Inside, the darkness was thick and suffocating. His lights flickered, the symbols on the walls glowing brighter. There was a presence here, ancient, powerful, and watching him. Ryan's heart pounded as he descended deeper into the fortress. Vanguard Squadron, hold your positions. I'm going to find out who, or what, called us here. His voice echoed through the dark halls as the shadows gathered outside, waiting for him to emerge. The truth was close now, but so was the danger. The interior of the ancient fortress was vast and echoing, its walls carved with symbols that seemed to whisper in the darkness. Ryan's ship hovered above the ground, its lights barely piercing the shadows. His sensors flickered, unable to get a clear reading. This place. It's alive, Ryan murmured, his voice echoing through the comms. He felt a chill crawl down his spine. It was as if the fortress was watching him, waiting for him to make the next move. Lieutenant Kara's voice crackled through. Captain, your signal's faint, but we're still reading you. What do you see in there? Ryan scanned the surroundings. It's like nothing I've ever seen. The walls are glowing, and there's a presence. I can feel it. The air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to shift, moving closer. Ryan's hand instinctively went to his weapon. He had faced enemies before, but this was different. This was ancient. He took a deep breath and stepped out of his ship. His boots echoed on the cold stone floor as he moved deeper into the fortress. The symbols on the walls glowed brighter, their light pulsating like a heartbeat. Ryan's fingers brushed against one of the carvings. It was warm, vibrating with energy. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and the symbols flared with light, illuminating the entire chamber. A voice boomed from the darkness, deep and ancient. Who dares enter the sanctum of the Guardian? Ryan spun around, his weapon drawn. Shadows swirled before him, coalescing into a towering figure made of light and smoke. Its eyes burned with golden flames, its form shifting like mist. Ryan's heart raced. I am Captain Ryan of the Terran Vanguard. We received a distress call. Who are you? The figure's eyes narrowed, its voice echoing with power. I am the Guardian, protector of this realm. For eons, I have watched over the Gate of Worlds, but now, the balance is broken. Ryan's brow furrowed. Balance? What balance? The Guardian's form flickered, its voice filled with sorrow. The shadows, creatures of the void. They were once bound by the ancient seals, but the seals have weakened, and they have escaped into your world. Ryan's mind raced. Those shadow creatures, They're from here. The Guardian nodded. Born of darkness, they feed on fear and chaos. They sensed the disturbance and broke free. Now they seek to consume all light. Ryan clenched his fists. They attacked my squadron. They're out there, trying to tear us apart. The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. They are drawn to life, to the spark of existence. They cannot be destroyed by mere weapons. Only the light of the gate can banish them. Ryan's heart pounded. Where is this gate? How do we use it? The chamber shook, dust falling from the ceiling as the shadows outside grew restless. The Guardian's form wavered, its light dimming. The gate lies at the heart of this fortress, beyond the trials of light. Only the worthy may pass. Ryan squared his shoulders. I'll do whatever it takes. Those creatures won't stop until they consume everything. I won't let that happen. The Guardian's gaze softened. Your courage is strong, human, but the trials will test more than your strength. They will test your heart, your will, and your light. Ryan tightened his grip on his weapon. I didn't come this far to fail now. I'll face whatever challenges lie ahead. The Guardian's form shimmered, its eyes filled with ancient wisdom. Then step forward, champion of humanity. Face the trials and prove your light can banish the darkness. The chamber rumbled as a doorway appeared before Ryan, its entrance glowing with golden light. Beyond it, shadows writhed and twisted, whispering his name. Ryan took a deep breath, his resolve hardening. He looked back at his ship, at the distant stars where his squadron fought for survival. They were counting on him. With a determined gaze, Ryan stepped through the doorway, the light enveloping him as the shadows hissed in fury. The trials awaited, and with them, the fate of the galaxy. The light was blinding. Ryan shielded his eyes as he stepped through the golden doorway, his heart pounding. When his vision cleared, he found himself standing in a vast chamber, its floor made of shimmering crystal. Mirrors lined the walls, reflecting his image endlessly. But it wasn't just his image. Shadows moved behind the reflections, dark and twisted, their eyes glowing with malice. They watched him, waiting. A voice echoed through the chamber. It was the Guardian, but softer now, almost gentle. The first trial. Face your fears. The mirrors rippled, their surfaces turning dark. Ryan's reflection changed, becoming someone else, his younger self, wide-eyed and terrified. He saw himself standing on a battlefield, surrounded by destruction. His squadron lay broken around him, their faces twisted in pain. No. Ryan's chest tightened. He remembered this day, the day he had failed to save his team. He had been young, inexperienced. He had hesitated, and they had paid the price. The shadows around him laughed, their voices cold and cruel. You're weak. You couldn't save them then, and you can't save them now. Ryan gritted his teeth, fists clenched. The pain of that day still haunted him, but he wouldn't let it break him now. I can't change the past, but I won't fail again. The shadows hissed, their faces morphing into those of his fallen comrades. You let us die. You left us behind. Ryan's heart ached, but he stood tall, his voice firm. I remember each of you. Your faces, your names. I carry you with me, always. But your sacrifice won't be in vain. I fight to honor you. The shadows recoiled, their forms flickering. The chamber brightened, the light pushing them back. The mirrors shattered, shards turning to dust. The Guardian's voice echoed again, stronger this time. You have faced your fear. Now face the darkness within. The floor shifted beneath Ryan's feet, and he was plunged into darkness. When he landed, he found himself in a twisted version of his ship's bridge. It was cold, the air heavy with despair. His crew stood before him, their faces pale, eyes hollow. They spoke in unison, their voices empty. You are nothing without us. Without your crew, you are powerless. Ryan's blood ran cold. He depended on his team, trusted them with his life. But was he truly powerless without them? The doubt gnawed at him. The shadows moved closer, their whispers growing louder. Without them, you're just a man. Weak, helpless. Ryan's shoulders sagged, the weight of their words pressing down on him. But then he remembered Kara's unwavering loyalty, Samir's fierce determination, Lyra's wisdom. They'd fought by his side not because they were forced to, but because they believed in him. He looked up, his eyes blazing with resolve. I am nothing without my crew, because they are my strength. Together, we are unstoppable. But even alone, I carry their spirit with me. The shadows screamed, their forms breaking apart. Light burst from Ryan's chest, driving back the darkness. The false bridge shattered, the illusions fading. He stood alone in the chamber, bathed in light. The Guardian's form appeared before him, its golden eyes warm with approval. You have faced the darkness within and emerged victorious. Your heart is strong, Captain Ryan. Ryan took a deep breath, his body exhausted but his spirit burning bright. Is it over? The Guardian's expression grew solemn. The final trial awaits. The trial of sacrifice. Before Ryan could respond, the ground split open beneath him, and he fell into a vast void. Stars swirled around him as visions danced before his eyes. He saw his crew fighting the shadow creatures, their faces filled with fear and determination. He saw worlds falling into darkness, entire civilizations consumed. The Guardian's voice echoed through the void. To save them, to save the galaxy, you must make the ultimate choice. Your life, or theirs. Ryan's heart stopped. He saw himself standing before the gate of worlds, its light flickering as the shadows closed in. He could save his crew, his people, but only by sealing the gate from the inside. His throat tightened. If he did this, he would be trapped in the void forever, lost to time and space. But his sacrifice would save them all. Tears burned in his eyes as he whispered, I can't leave them. The Guardian's voice was gentle. True courage is not facing death, but choosing to protect others, even at the cost of yourself. Ryan closed his eyes, his mind filled with memories of his crew's laughter, their loyalty, their friendship. He had sworn to protect them, to protect humanity. His eyes opened, burning with fierce determination. If my life is the price, then I pay it gladly. The void trembled, the stars glowing brighter. The Guardian's form appeared once more, a proud smile on its ancient face. You have passed the trials, champion of humanity. Your light shines brightest in the darkness. The light enveloped Ryan, warm and powerful. The shadows shrieked, their forms dissolving as the light consumed them. Ryan felt himself lifted, his body weightless as the light carried him back to the fortress. He knew what he had to do. The gate of worlds awaited, and with it, his destiny. Ryan stood before the gate of worlds, its golden light flickering like a dying flame. The air was cold, heavy with the weight of destiny. The fortress trembled as the shadow creatures clawed at the walls, their shrieks echoing through the chamber. His crew's voices crackled through his communicator. Captain, the shadows are closing in. We can't hold them off much longer. Kara's voice was filled with desperation. Ryan's heart tightened, but his face remained calm. Hold your ground. I'll end this, once and for all. He knew what had to be done. The Guardian's words echoed in his mind. To save them all, you must seal the gate from within. His eyes lingered on the faces of his friends displayed on his wrist screen. Kara's fierce loyalty, Samir's unbreakable courage, Lyra's quiet wisdom. They were his family. He had sworn to protect them, no matter the cost. Taking a deep breath, Ryan stepped toward the gate. Its light pulsed, as if sensing his resolve. The shadows hissed, recoiling from its glow. A voice called out behind him, Captain. He turned to see Kara, her face pale, eyes wide with fear. Don't do this. Ryan's heart shattered, but he forced a smile. You're in charge now, Kara. Lead them home. Tears glistened in her eyes. You can't. We need you. I need you. He looked away, his fists clenched. I made a promise. I won't break it." Before she could say another word, he turned and walked into the light. The gate's energy surged, wrapping around him like golden vines. His body felt weightless, his mind flooded with memories. His first mission, his crew's laughter, the bond they shared. He heard their voices in his ear, desperate, pleading. "Captain, come back." But it was too late. The gate's power pulled him deeper, the light growing brighter. The shadows shrieked, their forms crumbling as the light consumed them. Ryan stood in the heart of the gate, surrounded by swirling stars. The guardian's form appeared before him, its eyes filled with sorrow. "You have chosen the path of sacrifice. Your light will seal the darkness, but you will be lost to time and space." Ryan's voice was steady. "As long as they're safe, it's worth it." The guardian bowed its head. "Your courage will echo through eternity. Farewell, champion of humanity." The light flared, filling the universe. The shadows screamed as they were erased from existence. The gate trembled, its power surging as it sealed shut. In the fortress, Kara fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. The gate's light faded, its surface turning to stone. Ryan was gone. Silence filled the chamber. The shadow creatures were no more. The galaxy was safe, but their captain, their friend, was lost forever. Kara stood slowly, wiping her tears. She looked at the sealed gate, her heart heavy with grief. "We'll never forget you, Captain Ryan." She turned to her crew, her eyes fierce with determination. "Let's go home. We owe him that much." The fortress trembled, its ancient walls crumbling as the gate's power faded. Kara led her team to the ship, her heart breaking with every step. As they flew away, the Gate of Worlds stood silent, its light gone. But somewhere, beyond time and space, Ryan's spirit shone bright, guarding the galaxy he had saved. His sacrifice would never be forgotten. His legend would live on, inspiring generations to come. Humanity's light had conquered the darkness, and Ryan's name would echo through the stars, forever.